All right, guys. So yesterday I did a video about some issues going on in New York City, revolving around Bill de Blasio's new vaccine mandate. A vaccine mandate that's kind of a first of its kind in this country, in which it is requiring all businesses and their workers to be vaccinated, as well as demanding that people show proof of vaccination to get into restaurants, entertainment centers, like dining areas, places like that. It's requiring children to be vaccinated. It's also requiring people over 12 to be double vaccinated or something like that. It's pretty far reaching. Okay, it's some kind of scary stuff, to be quite honest with you, that a mayor has that much power. Now, yesterday, the story that I was talking about is people being arrested for basically trying to eat while being unvaccinated, right? Being arrested by the police for doing something that's really not violent at all. Okay, and I think that this is causing a whole lot of division in this country. Okay, it is creating a new type of segregation. And with that being said, right, with that story in mind and what's going on, this story right here makes me chuckle, right? Because it is a little bit of instant karma that shows you kind of how ridiculous a lot of this stuff is. As NYC's COVID inspector was booted from a bar for failing to show proof of vaccination. Yes, the person that's supposed to be there, right? The vaccination police that's supposed to be checking these bars to make sure they're in compliance with de Blasio's mandates, right? And the things that he wants. They were booted from a bar for failing to show proof of their own vaccination, right? How ridiculous is that? Okay, again, it shows you how, crazy a lot of this stuff is. But before I talk about this, I actually want to show you guys a clip of Bill de Blasio discussing this mandate on CNN, because he said some things that I think I want to talk about a little bit, and then I want to get into this story. Take a look.
People want to lead their lives. I mean, the hard thing, I feel it here in New York City. Yeah. By the way, I'm from Philadelphia, so it's not like I live in a rural area. But I feel it in every block that I walk in New York City. But if I were in the middle part of the country with you, I don't think we'd see masks. I don't think we'd be showing our vax cards anywhere. So I come back to that point where unless everybody's on the same page in the country, we're kind of screwed.
And you know how you get on the same page? People have to lead. So look, I believe with enough leadership, enough mandates, we're going to get a hell of a lot more people vaccinated. The more people vaccinated, the more we actually make the transition to a time when COVID is in the background, not the foreground. And we know these mandates work, and we know people respond. Look, human beings are pretty predictable. If you say your paycheck depends on it, or your ability to enjoy life and go do the things you want to do, people will make the practical decision overwhelmingly, and they'll go get vaccinated. But we aren't pushing hard enough. We got to go farther.
In the ideal world, guys, somebody that's not a tyrannical, radical dictator, that's power hungry, would say, people can make their own decisions, right? And we should just let the data speak for itself, right? Let the numbers in regards to the virus and the vaccine speak for themselves, and let people make their own decisions, okay? Kind of like, what happened with polio. Polio was deadly enough, and it scared enough people because of the effects that people say, I'm going to line up and I'm going to get vaccinated, right? And maybe you should just treat COVID the same. If people think that the effects of the virus and that is deadly enough to warrant getting a vaccine, give them the autonomy to do it. But this guy doesn't want to do that, right? He wants to force it into you through coercion, right? Tell you that, hey, you can't get paid, you can't have a job, you can't live a regular life if you don't do what I tell you to do. Again, it's kind of crazy stuff. And it's funny because this is one of the only few times I've seen on CNN where these people are actually giving some real legitimate pushback, in the sense that this guy was like, that, like, if you don't do this in the rest of the country, then it's kind of pointless to a certain extent, because New York City is a tourist city. Okay, like, people are going to be coming to New York City from around the country, right? And with that being said, if it's not being done at a countrywide level, then is it really necessary? And that's 100% a legitimate point, because Bill de Blasio is trying to, sell this dream world that, if I implement this mandate, then other people are going to do it, right? Like, it's going to make Ron DeSantis do it. And it's just not, right? It's just not. And also on top of that, he says, the faster we do it, the quicker we can do this, we can get COVID in the background. Well, what does that mean, right? What does that actually mean? Because I would argue that with the vaccines, okay, you can put it in the background now, but you guys just refuse to do so because it's politically convenient for you not to, right? And it's also profitable for them not to. Okay. And again, I would ask Bill de Blasio, what proof did you have that his mandate is going to make this virus go away, right? Especially if it's not done at a countrywide or even global level, right? What proof do you have? That's all I ask. But hey, it is what it is. Let's read about this story, right, in which this health inspector got denied access to a restaurant because they couldn't show their own proof of vaccination. A Big Apple health inspector carrying out random COVID compliance checks was refused entry to a Staten Island bar because she couldn't show her own proof of vaccination. Stunned bar manager Maggie Koronilian, 38, told the Post on Friday how she had to boot the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene employee from Big Nose Kate's Saloon and Eatery on Tuesday. Quote, I don't understand how they're coming here enforcing something and not cooperating with the very thing that they're trying to enforce, she said of the Big Apple's stringent key to NYC rules for bars and restaurants. Well, the reason why is that if you've been paying attention to the Democrats the whole time during this whole pandemic, they've never done the things they advocate other people do, right? They didn't care about social distancing or, any of that stuff during the Black Lives Matter protests, during the Antifa protest. They didn't care about any of that stuff, right? They don't care about wearing masks when they're having their own parties, like Obama's having a party, when Nancy Pelosi's having a fundraiser, when Joe Biden's out eating, or when Maxine Waters is on an airplane. They don't care, right? Just like they don't care about having to show proof of vaccination to conduct a COVID health inspection, right? They don't care about that, okay, because they feel like they're above the rules. Koronilian said Inspector Benedicta Opera came to the South Shore bar Tuesday with her official identification on clear display. She said, I'm here to do a COVID inspection. So I asked to see her vaccination card as we do for anyone else who comes here, said Koronilian, whose boyfriend, Vincent Signoral, is Big Nose Kate's owner. She said, no, that's what I'm here checking for. And that she wasn't there to stay and eat, recalled the manager. Wait. Hold on now. This person had the unmitigated gall, the cojones to say, no, I'm not showing proof of vaccination. I'm not here to eat. No. You have to show proof to enter, to come into the establishment. Not to sit down and eat, but to enter the establishment, right? That is what Bill de Blasio's rule is. Koronilian said she told Oprah that she had to be checked just like everybody else if she wanted to come in. I asked her a few times to show it to me before I told her, listen, we better go outside, said Koronilian. As they stood outside Big Nose Kate's, the inspector was able to check that the bar's paperwork was indeed in compliance with the city's latest COVID rules. As she's looking through the paperwork, I just looked at her and said, you're not above the law, recalled Koronilian, clarifying that she had meant to say mandate. She asked what law, and I pointed to the vaccination signs hung on the front of the bar and said, this bullshit, Koronilian said. Hey. You know what? Again, a lot of these restaurant owners should be doing this, right? When they show up for these health inspections, hey, where's your vaccination card? Okay, you're not above the mandate. You ain't above it, right? You're not above it. Quote, I have my notices on the door, so I'm 100% in compliance and doing everything to a T, she said. We're not happy doing it, but we're doing everything that's required, and that means that anybody that comes in, whether a customer or inspector or customer, has to follow the mandate, she said. A spokesperson for the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene confirmed to the Post that the inspector was able to complete this key to NYC inspection and found this establishment to be in compliance. The rep did not, however, explain why Oprah refused to show her vaccination card, but insisted she has to have been jabbed to do the job. Employees of the city of New York are required to be vaccinated, and health inspectors interacting with the public are vaccinated against COVID-19, the spokesperson said. Attempts to reach Oprah were not immediately successful Friday. Oh, man. Again, that is a instant karma story, right? And again, this is something that, it kind of shows you that a lot of these business owners, they don't want to do this, right? Because, again, it is more regulations that is hurting their businesses, making them have to jump through extra hoops without actually being compensated for the fact that they have to do that, okay? And, one way to kind of fight back and to jab at somebody like de Blasio is to make his army of minions make their jobs harder by saying, no, you just can't walk up in here and just be trying to check the place without showing your proof of vaccination, right? But how arrogant is it to be a health inspector and think that you can just walk into a place without showing proof of vaccination, but everybody else has to, right? Again, it just goes to show you how a lot of these people think that they're above their own rules, right? Once again, like we always see when it comes to these Democrats. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.